I'm your host, Madrina, and welcome to Rolling with Madrina. I'm a community service organizer, motivational speaker, and an advocate for the people. I am living proof that your struggle can be your story and your trauma can be your triumph. I've dedicated my life to giving back, and I want you to roll with me while I speak with those in our community who are doing what they do best. Now watch and listen for what you can do to join their cause. Hello, and thank you for watching Rolling with Madrina. I'm Madrina Ciano. I am so honored to be your host every week where I get to talk about people who are making great change in our community or having really exciting events and just overall enrich our community. And I've got guests on today that do just that. I'm talking about some real light bringers and game changers from the Gulf Coast diplomacy. Ta-da! Look at that magic. You see that magic, sisters?
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So I have Gina and Rachel with us here today in the Blab TV studio. Gina is the executive director, and Rachel is not only a board member, but one of the directors at the Office for International Affairs at UWF. I said internal off the air and again. So anyway, welcome, and thank you for being here. You've been on before.
We have, yeah.
So I'm excited for you to tell the guests that are watching and our viewers today who you are and what you do. But before, would you introduce yourselves more largely and what else you do in the community in addition to this?
Sure. Well, my name is Gina Malasan, and I'm the founder and executive director of Gulf Coast Diplomacy. And Rachel and I last year were in the LEAP class. We graduated with the LEAP. And my primary focus in the community is working with Gulf Coast Diplomacy and also getting engaged with high schoolers who are interested in all aspects of diplomacy, whether it's learning different languages or critical thinking or being exposed to American history and civics. That's what I like doing.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking when you were talking. I thought, what exactly is the diplomacy umbrella? What does that look like? And what is the landscape of that when you said get more involved in diplomacy?
Well, that really will get us into talking about all of our programs. But before we do that, maybe I should just explain what citizen diplomacy is.
Yeah, please do.
So citizen diplomacy is the idea that we as citizens have the right, even the responsibility, to get involved in foreign relations one handshake at a time. So government to government is a totally different thing from people to people. And so we're involved in people to people diplomacy.
Well said.
Yeah. Yes.
You want to piggyback on that?
I couldn't have said it any better.
That's wrap that up. What is the mission of your organization?
Well, we have a lot of things. I think one of the big pieces is what Gina was just speaking about, is that people-to-people, city-to-city contact. When we bring our visitors here, it's not that they're just getting something from our visit. There really is a symbiotic relationship there because our leaders, our businesses, different schools are meeting with these visitors and they're learning something too. Even if it's just sharing a meal at night with our Dinner with the Delegates program. Don't you have great conversation over the dinner table? So that's where you really open up and you can have a cultural experience. We've had, in addition to our visitors, we're also working with youth programs as well. And I think we'll want to talk a little bit about that, how we're getting
Rachel,
youth engaged.
I know you're at the Office of International Affairs at UWF and a board member here with Gina's organization. So how do UWF and these organizations tie together?
Yes, well, I've been working in international education close to 20 years at this point. So there is a great nexus between the work I do in international education and Gulf Coast diplomacy. I've been on the board for probably close to 8 years, maybe.
Long time.
They can't kick me off. I don't know.
Well, we did have a break because there was a mandatory roll-off, but then we asked her to come back.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. In fact, we welcome visitors to UWF quite often. We recently had a group from Mexico of higher education professionals. And, it's a benefit to us, too. They were looking for international partners, so we were able to work with them and probably develop some relationships.
Yeah. Gina, this is a true 501c3 nonprofit?
Yes. So in the United States, there are 87 communities that the U.S. Department of State trusts to manage what they call the International Visitor Leadership Program, the IVLP, on the ground. And in order to work with the IVLP in your community, you have to be a 501(c)(3). So I founded the organization in 2008, recruited our board, and we've been growing ever since then.
Wow.
And I mean, if you think about it, 87 cities in the United States, trusted by the U.S. Department of State with its most prestigious exchange. That's really saying something for our area. Yeah.
And what made you step out to do that? I mean, it did not exist. You're the
That's
trailblazer that
Can I
created
tell that story?
Go ahead and tell it.
Preach for her. Look at that.
Let's hear
What
it.
a sister
I
to
don't
stand
know. Let's hear
up.
it.
I know
Let's
she'll
hear
be
it.
too modest.
I love it. Go ahead.
So yes, in 2008, she got a group of our community leaders together, and I think you just said, imagine the possibilities. So they're intrigued, right? What are you going to bring us? And we talked about this program, and here we are.
Because you had heard of it elsewhere? Or?
Actually, I worked in Louisiana starting in 2003 in the office in New Orleans that deals with the IVLP. And then I was here working for New Orleans back before virtual working was, or distance working was cool, was a thing really.
Yeah.
And I did it long enough that some people in Washington, D.C. said, that's nice, but we can't send visitors to Northwest Florida because there's not an office there. And people here locally were saying, cool job, but why are you marketing Louisiana? And one day I thought, well, maybe I ought to look into taking a leap of faith and doing it. And I did.
I'm really surprised there wasn't one here existing with our aviation and our ports and water and coastline. And New Orleans beat us on that, huh?
Well, there's one in New Orleans, there's one in Jackson, Mississippi, there's one in Huntsville, there's one in Atlanta. And then in the rest of Florida, you have Miami, Orlando, Tampa. At the time, there was one on the Space Coast, but that one has since folded. And there's one in Jacksonville. And my big selling point was you can say that, oh, Florida already has Miami. Well, we don't need another office in Miami, but we're different culturally and geographically than those other cities in Florida.
Very different. Well, thank you, because this is an organization that helps enrich our community and bring visitors here. And so is this something you become a member of? Is this a nonprofit? What is it like?
I was going to say too that, fast forward 16 years now, we've had over 3,000 visitors come to Pensacola through this program. I think there's over 10,000 meals shared with dinner with the delegates. So the community's opening up their homes to these visitors.
And remember also, they come with a per diem. So their funds are being spent in our local restaurants and stores. I know they're being spent in stores because we often go to Walmart to pick up more suitcases. The funds are being spent in our local arts community and in our hotels and transportation. And think of all the flights that are coming into the area because of it.
Do you create a curriculum for them when they're here? Do you partner with Visit Pensacola? Or how do you determine what their program is when they're here?
So there is a database that we go to see who is coming into the United States in the first place. And we then look to see, well, if we got that group, what would we do with them? So then we write a proposal and we send it to people in Washington, D.C., and we try to convince them, as are the other 86 offices, hey, you should bring them to us. And so we really focus our writing and our marketing and our networking so that we can convince them to come here. And then once we're selected, so someone at the Department of State selects us, and then there's another office in Washington that will work with the Department of State. Then the idea is to send the visitors to 4 to 5 communities in the United States, and they divide the country up into regions. So technically our competition are other communities in the South and other communities around our population size, or those that are perceived in that office as being around our population size.
So they wouldn't hit multiple cities within Florida?
They might. In the past, it has happened. They might. But in general, it's not that way. And so we look to see which programs we think we would be good at, or our community would be good at. We pitched Pensacola, pitched Northwest Florida, and then we're told, okay, we're coming, but then that office in Washington looks at the other 3 cities that they're going to so that we're not duplicating, right? And so they are in charge of making sure that everything is seamless. Because these groups aren't coming, it's not a vacation. It's every project reflects U.S. foreign policy goals. So whether that's women in business, or safety for youth, or journalism, or something to do with the military. There are about 100 and, at one time I counted there were 103 different themes, but there's so many more now. But our embassies look to see who is doing good work, our embassies and missions, and you can't apply for the program. So our people, whether it's with the Department of Justice or the Department of State or the Department of Defense, they reach out and say, we'd like to bring you on this exchange. And then they go to the embassies. There's a committee. The people at the committee level then pitch their person. So it's competitive even at the embassy level.
Wow, okay.
And that's how
prestigious and how lucky that you would have just blazed the trail to make this happen in our city. And how many visitors have we now had because of that?
over 3,000.
Lucky us. And then they bring all their education to you as well here.
So it's an exchange. It's not, we're not dumping information on them. It's back and forth, back and forth.
Do you go and visit all of their?
No, so the U.S., this project is funded by U.S. taxpayer dollars, and those taxpayer dollars are spent in the United States. Like if I were to go overseas, that would be spent elsewhere, and that's not what the goal is. But just looking back at some of the people who've come through the project, Margaret Thatcher, Anwar Sadat.
Not here.
No, not in Pensacola. When they were young and up and coming. So Margaret Thatcher came on what is today called the IVLP in 1967. It was her first time to come to the United States. Anwar Sadat, Indira Gandhi, Tony Blair. Our people on our embassies or our missions look to see who's doing work that needs to be encouraged.
Very cool.
Well, and why reinvent the wheel, right? So if someone's doing something interesting, bring them here
Tap into
and
that.
let's go back and forth.
What's already there, the wealth of knowledge. All right, we're going to take a short break here on Rolling with Madrina. When we come back, we're going to learn more about some exciting events that they have coming up and how you can get involved.
Do you want to create but don't know where to start? Our new fabric line will inspire you. If you can dream it, we can help you make it. From using kits that include everything you would need, to taking classes to create something more personalized, Daryl's is the place for you. No matter if you're just beginning or experienced, Daryl's has you covered. Find us at 6705 North Davis Highway, open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Hi, I'm Madrina. Be a mover and shaker in our community by helping others overcome problems ranging from health to substance abuse, from personal safety to neighborhood issues, from taking care of your kids to taking care of your parents. Come on our show and tell people how you did it. Be a community hero and watch Rolling with Madrina, Thursday nights at 8:30, only on Blab TV.
What do an aerospace engineer, cancer immunologist, and bat scientist all have in common? We all have cool jobs in STEM fields. Whether it's building robots or learning to code, girls everywhere are finding their passion for science, technology, engineering, and math through positive role models and mentors. So dare to dive in, get connected, and explore. You never know what your future may hold. Learn more about these and even more cool jobs at shecanstem.com.
All right, welcome back. We were talking off camera, and there's just so much to learn about this organization, and it's just so prestigious, and it was just so unique in that you did it and brought it here. I mean, we have much to be thankful for. All right, we'll talk more about Gulf Coast diplomacy Rachel, you mentioned the word membership when we were off camera.
Sorry, I
How does
deviated
that
from
work?
that.
Do you become a member of a nonprofit, or I guess that's like Impact 100. That's what we do there.
Yeah, so we have membership and sponsorship opportunities.
Nice.
So our membership starts at $60 for annual dues. I think that's pretty affordable. It goes up to different levels, of course. And
What does
with
that include? What do you get for a membership?
Well, you get access to all of the programs that we're offering, whether that be a coffee. Some of our visitors, we set up a coffee at Seville Quarter. You can go and meet with them, talk with them, learn more about their program. You can host them in your home as a dinner with the delegate. I mean, how cool is that?
How cool is that? Let's
How cool is
expand
that?
on that if you don't mind, in case, because we have a great viewership, and that might be something that's paint the picture. What's that like? What does that require of a person?
Yeah, well, as Gina was talking about, we're bringing all these emerging leaders. So since 1940, with IVLP started, there's been close to 250,000 of these IVLP members coming to the U.S. We've hosted, as we said, over 3,000. So we know that these people are going to be something in their communities and their countries. So how cool is it to, break bread and have a meal with these people and talk about the amazing things that they're doing. And once they leave, I can assure you that you stay in touch. They're not gone forever. You will still email, you'll be Facebook friends, whatever the case might be.
So it's the hosting of one diplomat, or sometimes
it could be
the
multiple.
group. And it's just the feeding, not the sleepover. It's not a bed and breakfast situation.
Yep, you could just bring them to your home. They're there for an hour or two, and then they go back to their hotel.
And before we get too far, if we are saying something that interests you and you need to contact them, they can reach out to you on. Are you on Facebook, Messenger, X, Snapchat? What are all the platforms you have?
Instagram, Facebook,
X.
Is there a phone number or an email? I mean, an email. Is there an email?
It's best to go to our website, and there's
Okay.
a contact us page.
Go ahead and say that. We'll get it on the bottom of the screen, but go ahead and say it verbally.
It's gulfcoastdiplomacy.org.
Okay.
And I wanted to say something
Yeah.
really quickly. Thank you for recognizing how prestigious this program is. But yes, I brought it, but it's the people here in Northwest Florida who've kept it thriving. Because typically for an office in a community of our size, for it to be so successful so quickly wouldn't happen. But the people here are hospitable, they're enthusiastic, and they're generous with their time and hearts and opening their homes for dinner. And we wouldn't have been successful without that.
Thank you for being humble and shining the light on other people that help. That's great.
This is, I mean it.
I know, I mean it too. I mean it too. Because none of it would be possible if you didn't start it. But it always takes that one person to start that fire. And yes, you lit multiple fires under people who have stepped forward and are making it continuing. So thank you to them and to you. Just receive it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so the membership, $60 a year. You get it and get the knowledge of all the different things that are happening. And what else, sis?
Well, we also have an exciting fundraiser coming up. Tickets are available now for the Mint Jubilee. This is our annual fundraiser.
Is this Derby related?
It's Derby
Okay,
themed,
all right.
so grab your hats, grab your bow ties. No room for horses, but bow ties and hats are fine.
Okay.
I mean, you could dress as a horse if you wanted
could,
to
I
come as a
suppose.
horse. But
Takes place on May the 2nd.
May 2nd.
Where, when, and
It's
how?
it's at the Garden Center. Tickets are available now online on our website. It's a lot of fun. We'll have live auction, live music,
Lots
good
of games.
food. Yeah,
Dressed to impress.
absolutely.
yes.
All right.
We have a hat contest.
Ooh.
Ladies, there's a hat contest.
How many people attend annually?
Close to 100, and I think this year we have a bigger venue, so we can welcome more people.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And all that information is all on your platforms and your website and
That's right.
everything else. Okay. And do you have enough sponsors for that already?
No,
It's
we
all-
would love sponsors for this event.
Very cool. All right. And sponsorship levels are on the website also.
They are.
So you've been doing this how long? This is number
And Jubilee, oh gosh.
Uh-oh.
decade plus? I mean,
A
it's
long time.
Well,
A
that's
long time.
when longevity. That says something.
We even had one when it was Zoom
Oh,
days.
yes.
And
Yes.
and
During
our-
COVID,
during
we had a
COVID.
virtual Mint Jubilee.
Because
Oh, I remember those days when
And-
we were
and
all
we-
trying to virtual fundraise.
And we had our names changed to your favorite horse
name.
name.
I feel like I recall that. All right, May the 2nd. So that's just about a month from now. Keep a lookout for that. What else you got going on that are help support your mission?
Well, the other thing I wanted to mention is that, we've talked a lot about our international visitors that are coming in, and that is one of the largest components of what we do. But we also have programming for youth. So we have Camp Global that's coming up, and then the Youth Diplomats program. So individuals who have incoming high school students. They might be in 8th grade now, moving into 9th grade. So it's for 9th to 12th graders. So high school students, they can participate in this. And what it does, it's not just about global affairs. Of course, that's a component, but it's also about developing leadership skills.
Nice.
And so the students actually, or participants actually get to choose the themes that they're doing for this program. So whether that be misinformation on the internet or cybersecurity or...
Do they apply? Is it on your website?
Yep.
Yes.
How many students do you take each year, and how long does the program run?
24 students, because that's how many chairs we have in the conference room.
Keep it simple.
With Camp Global, we can accept up to 56 because that's a virtual camp. It's a 1-week virtual camp. But Youth Diplomats is for the year. And we're actually open now for applications for our 8th cohort, and they close in about a month.
Very nice. I love that. And so is that well attended every year with different youth?
Yeah, I think it's grown every year.
Grown every year. Every year there's something new. Last year with Camp Global, we had maybe 8 different students from 8 different countries attending. It was all in English, but 8 different countries attending it. Every year it's something new. Yeah, it's exciting. Well, and we're able to recruit those students to attend because we have these people from the IVLP who come in, and then while they're with us, I let them know if any of you are working with local high schools, or if you're a teacher yourself, consider promoting this in your community for us. And so they'll reach out to people, students who they think would benefit.
It's really a global network.
Yeah.
All of this, everything of what you do, it's literally the worldwide web.
You have no idea how many people come to us and they say, when I arrived in Washington and they told us we were going to this city and this city and this city in Pensacola, I said, where? Why?
How do they not know about
And
Pensacola?
then
That's outdated information,
and
Gina.
then they come here and they say, I know why they sent me. I love this place. I want to bring my family back.
Even just because of the Blue Angels, don't they know Pensacola because of that?
They know Miami, Orlando.
They know Miami and Orlando. But not any, there's at least 3,000 plus out there who know other places like
Wow.
Pensacola.
And even though we're a smaller market,
Yeah.
again, I know you want to brag, but we are one of the best performing community-based members, one of those 87. Every time I go to the Global Ties annual conference and I say I'm from Gulf Coast Diplomacy, they say, "Oh, Gina, you guys do great things," So I feel like
And where's that held at?
in
Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
We have a strong team.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so just recently returned from that annual conference. So it also gives them an opportunity to do advocacy work. They get to go on the Hill and talk to our leaders about our program.
You know, I forgot. That's the most important thing to me is our program, the International Visitor Leadership Program, enjoys bipartisan support in the U.S. Congress. Can I repeat it? Bipartisan support in the U.S. Congress.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, we've got 5 minutes left, so I want you to say all that's important to you. But in a perfect world, what do you need? You need sponsors, you need members. What is it that the community at Pensacola can do to get behind y'all?
Well, we definitely would love to have more members, even some more board members. We would appreciate more diversity in our board. And as we mentioned, the membership is a nominal fee, but it gets you access. I think people might think that this is just a very niche area, but it's not. There's quite a breadth of opportunities in this program. We also need sponsors for our special programs.
Not only just your events, but your programming. So lay it out there, Gina. Tell the universe.
From a practical standpoint, we need more dinner hosts. So our home hospitality program, these people are in the country for 3 weeks. And you can imagine it's restaurant meal after restaurant meal after restaurant meal. When they come to Pensacola, we want to be able to offer them at least 1 meal in a home. And we'll send 2, maybe 3 people with you to your home. 3 international visitors, possibly a 4th is the interpreter, but what we prefer...
That's probably very needed, an interpreter.
Yeah, but not all of them, because a lot of them speak English.
Right.
So I like only sending 3, but if we don't have enough hosts, then you wind up having a little bit more.
Right.
And that's what I really need.
Just a handful.
And
3 to 5 people.
And you can co-host. I've done that before.
Co-hosting is great.
So you get one person go pick them up.
I know there's a lot of foodies that are out there. I see people cooking and posting their photos of their food. You're very naturally talented. What culinary skills. This is the volunteer role for you.
Exactly. Also, don't get intimidated. This is not diplomats. These are local leaders, up and coming leaders. So these are people in their 20s, in their 30s, maybe their 40s. You do not have to have a 5-course meal. If what you have on Tuesdays is if Taco Tuesday is your thing, let's do it. Let's do Taco Tuesdays, as long as you make them.
I
would
bet they
prefer.
enjoy getting in the culture. In the actual, just this is American life.
And
Yeah,
you'll get a
exactly.
profile on that individual or individuals before they come.
Yeah.
You'll know if there's any dietary
Cool.
restrictions. So you'll kind of know a bit about them before they even enter your home.
Yeah. And we'll share whatever, to let you know what they're looking at. So you might even say, oh, this is a group looking at cybersecurity. My friend Frank works at UWF in cybersecurity. Let's invite Frank over for dinner too. And whatever you want to do.
Cool. That seems like an awesome opportunity.
And I think we probably are also looking for, Gina was talking about doing programming. I feel like sometimes we're hitting up the same people for programming. So if anyone has, a particular interest, we would love to partner with you or your organization to have the visitors come and visit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned something about tours. Are you referring to UWF?
Tours?
I thought you said you had tours up there at UWF. You meant when they come here.
we did have a group come to UWF. Oh, actually, several come. Yeah.
Frequently.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Last minute, this is your chance to ask for what you want and where people can find you. We've got upcoming events. They'll be listed on your website, May 2nd. The Youth Diplomats, you're taking applications for that now.
We have monthly coffees. Some are only for members and some are open to the public. And so if you're interested in attending a monthly coffee with our international visitors, send me a note through Contact Us on the website page.
And is that virtual or in person?
Oh, no, those are in person.
So you have an international visitor here once a month?
Oh, before COVID, we were averaging 2.8 delegations a month.
Oh.
We're busy.
So it's
here all the time.
ongoing. It's not
we
like
just-
once or twice a year. It's,
Oh, no. Like, we just had a group leave last week. We have another group coming next week. We have another just hit me at any point in the calendar year,
Wow.
except for around the holidays. Ask me what's happening, and I can say there's a group in town now, there's a group in town next week.
Impressive. Check them out. Go to their Facebook, Instagram, X, website, gulfcoastdiplomacy.org.
Yes.
And I know that Gina and Rachel would love to help you. And please get involved. And thank you for watching Rolling with Madrina. See you next week.